Welcome back, guys. We're talking about the top credit hacks to get you $100K in funding. So if you are looking for funding, you are in the right place. Make sure that you've watched part 1 and part 2 of the Credit Hacks podcast. Again, my name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott. We have a special guest with us today, Marshall. She is amazing. And in this part 3 of this podcast, we are going to be talking about building credit. So if you are new here, make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. Give me a huge thumbs up and make sure that you've watched part 1 and part 2 of this podcast, because let me be the first to tell you, it is jammed packed with hacks. Okay. So let's get into it, guys. If you have not already started to build credit, now is the time to do it. In part 2 of the video, we talked about some of the data points that you're going to need in order to qualify for funding. And what that looked like essentially was 2 to 4 installment loans and anywhere between 6 and 10 credit cards. And again, this is on the personal side. So let's go ahead and talk more about it. So the first thing when it comes to building credit, I want you guys to really understand this. And I think we've talked about this so much. I think I've talked about this so much to where it just is like, I don't know how much more I could say. Late payments. Okay. We have to establish credit lines with 100% on-time payments. Okay. So important. Set up auto pay for the minimum amount due for every single account that is reporting to your credit. You can afford to be late on bills that do not report to your credit. That's why I always tell you, do not add your rent. Do not add your utilities. They are shitty trade lines to begin with. We just don't need them. That's not what we're looking for. That's not what the banks are looking for. Banks are looking for comparable credit. Those are subscriptions. Very, very different. Okay. So we could be late on all of those accounts, but what we can't be late on are credit cards, installment loans, anything like that. Okay. So get it together. If you do have late payments, we have to take a vow today. Okay. Raise your hands, everyone. Do I have it? Raise your hand. We can never be late again, because we know with FICO 10, they're going to be looking at the last 48 months, the last 4 years. And this late payment is going to stay on my credit for 7. Affect me for 7. If I'm late on my rent, it doesn't affect me for 7 years. Okay. So let's get it together, guys, because we have to make sure that we are adulting. And part of adulting is learning credit, understanding credit, and managing our finances responsibly. Okay. Which brings us to topic 2, manage your credit responsibly. What does that look like? Well, we basically want to use our credit cards as if they were a debit card. Okay. Now, the reason why I say that is because these credit cards are really just for decoration. They are for like trophies. They are not to be over leveraged. They are to be leveraged for what they are meant for, which is leveraging security, because it's a layer of security versus using your debit card. You're gaining points or rewards from using your credit card, but we only want to spend what we have in cash unless it's an emergency situation. Okay. And we must learn to play this little game of credit. And part of that is being disciplined. Okay. We can't always just go out and buy what we want because we have a credit card burning a hole in our pocket. Okay. We need to make better educated decisions. And if you need help, there is a link below to book a call, book a mini call. So that way I can be honest with you and tell you exactly what it is that you should be doing. Same thing. I'll leave Marshall's information below. We have to make sure that you have a personalized roadmap to what's going to be best for you, no matter who you've spoke with in the past, what information, what YouTube channel, what YouTube university you've been to. We want to make sure that you unlearn everything that you once thought you knew about credit, and maybe what some of these so-called gurus are saying about credit, and understand what we are teaching you in this 4-part podcast, because this is the information that you need to know. Because if it was that easy, everyone would have good credit. Everyone.
Yeah.
And guess what? I was just working with one of my clients the other day, and she said, I'll be the first one to tell you. I do credit now, thanks to you, because I signed up for your coach, Nicole. But I was that person that I had a 700 credit score from adding authorized user trade lines and rent reporters to my credit. And I thought I was good to go and I could qualify for anything. And my feelings were hurt when I went into that car dealership and they told me, no, you don't qualify for squat. Why? They didn't have comparable credit, no installment loans. So you have to learn how to diversify your credit profile and go after things that are in your league. Marshall, you talked about staying in your own league, right?
Staying in your lane, staying in your weight class.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, our goal with building credit is to build a lengthy credit history so banks and financial institutions will feel comfortable working with us. What does that mean? We don't want to look like we are a risk. When you have late payments, when you are seeking credit constantly, when you are constantly opening new credit, when you are over leveraging your credit cards, you look like a risk. Okay. When you are going after funding, you need to make sure that it's done strategically and that you have updated all of your data points to reflect an approval. If you go seeking credit and you are maxed out on your credit cards and you have a ton of inquiries, like you are desperately seeking credit, do you honestly think if you were the bank that you would approve you? If so, I mean, you're going to be paying for it, buddy. You are going to be big time paying for it. And what does that mean? Interest.
Yes.
Just because you're approved doesn't mean it's a good financial decision for you, because guess what? What these banks are banking on and how they make money is by loaning money, obviously, right? But they also make money on high risk individuals because they can charge them a shit ton of interest. And they know that this person is already overpaying for this. So they know that they're not going to be able to keep this loan for 7 years. They already know that going into this, right? So they can expect that you're going to default on your car payment and the car is going to end up getting repossessed within 2 to 4 years of buying the car, maybe even sooner, right?
Yes.
So what they get to do is they get to sell that same car at an auction and make a profit from that, probably write it off on their taxes as a loss. But they're making a profit selling it at the auction. And guess what? They're still going to come after you trying to collect. So you really it's all about being educated, right? That's what it boils down to. And sometimes it's best for us to, maybe get less of a car, right? If that means us getting a $400 car payment that we can afford, we know we can afford a $400 car payment for the next 7 years. That's no problem. But $1,400 car payment is a different story. So, I'll be the first one to tell you, I have a Turo business. I do rental cars. I have 3 cars. Thank God I didn't buy more, because I definitely had bought more and it didn't work out at that time. And that was God telling me, take a seat. Okay. 3 is enough. 3 is probably too much. But I wish that I would have had someone that was just going to keep it real with me when I was, starting this business, because I had, a mentorship that I paid $5,000 for, and they told me to go get Mercedes in my business name. And I did. And guess what? The business Mercedes reports to my personal credit. So it helps because, the car is paid on time, yada, yada, yada. But there are some months that Turo does not pay for that car. So if I was not financially stable besides Turo and I didn't have multiple streams of income, then I would default on that car. I would become late on that car. So you really have to stay within your league and understand what you can afford and really make strategically decisions that are take time. Don't just rush into something. Okay. That's when you F up and make the most mistakes. Don't rush into things. Okay. Be patient, check things out, watch things for a while, and just let it go. All right. And Marshall, we talk about this a lot, but comparable credit is so important. So if you don't have any auto loans that you've ever gotten on your credit, because you're like, well, I pay cash for all my cars. Great. But what you should do is just get that auto loan and you can pay it off in a few months, 6 months. And that way you're putting your cash on your credit report. Same concept when it comes to, secured loans, pledge loans. A lot of people talk about the pledge loan hack. I love the pledge loan hack. It helped me get $25,000 credit card. I've done a whole video on it where I showed you guys someone else that did a $200,000 pledge loan and they actually got a $200,000 line of credit. So adding that comparable credit to your credit profile helps secure approvals when it comes to funding. And that is really important for people to understand. If you haven't even had a $10,000 credit card, the highest credit card that you have is $1,000. What makes you think that a bank is just going to give you $50,000? And Marshall, I know you see this all the time because this is your people. You help people get funding.
And it's just like you have to present yourself as worthy.
Mm-hmm.
That means not saying that you're not worthy as a human being to have what you want, but if you're looking and go knocking on somebody else's door and you're asking them to fund something for you, you're going to have to meet their expectations. And that's what it boils down to. So it's all about becoming worthy for the funding that's eligible.
Right.
And more than just cleaning up some credit and turning around 2 times and clapping your hands.
Yeah.
It's really putting the effort together to make sure that they're saying yes. You want to make your file attractive as possible. Just think of it as dating. You want the banks to think that you're attractive. So you want to put on your best and present yourself to the bank so they can say, yes, let's build a long-term relationship. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
Absolutely. And, we're not talking about, self-lender and Credit Strong. A lot of these Chime and, secured credit cards, we're talking about building healthy, long-term relationships with real banks and financial institutions. Now, if you have issues opening up bank accounts, that is a whole problem that we need to fix.
Yes.
That is why you need to join our community so we can show you guys how to correct that so you can open up bank accounts. I've talked to so many people in the past that say, well, I can't build credit because I can't open up a bank account. And it's like, well, we got to fix that because you can't be over here banking with Chime or any of these other banks that would give you a bank account with you having, negative items on your check systems report or early warning report. It's just not going to work long term. We need to fix the problem at the root. Quit trying to sweep it under the rug and walk over it. Okay.
Yes.
That's what people try to do. They try to put sugar on shit and it never works.
Never.
It never works.
Never. And then you wind up getting duped by someone telling you that they can bypass all that. Because there are people out there that can make a lot of promises or get you close to the threshold.
They can sell you. They can sell you. That's what they're doing. They're selling you a dream.
They can sell you. But when you get to that funding table, honey, everything that you thought that you were hiding is definitely going to be exposed. Because if you think that they don't know, honey, they know. They know. The banks are going to know. They have a group chat on you. They know, including me. I'm not exempt.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. People don't understand there's more data out there than just Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. There are thousands of other data reporting companies out there that banks and financial institutions leverage just to kind of check information. They like to have data. They have more data about you on file than you have about you on file. Okay.
Exactly.
And, a lot of people say, oh, well, I just started getting offers in the mail from this bank, that bank, or another bank. Yeah. Because as soon as your credit score hits 600, they send out direct mailing to target everyone for marketing purposes. And they'll offer an incentive if you can come open up a bank account and get direct deposit, because ultimately they're only making money when they're lending money. So they need to bring people in to build a relationship with them. So in the future, they can give them funding products and they can in return make interest off that money. So it is a business model and banks need to give you this money to make a profit.
That's a good point, Nicole. And I like that you said that because most people, if you hear it, especially if they have blemished credit or they don't really understand money, they're always so quick to blame the bank. Kid you not. If I brought 75 people to the bank right now, of course it's not open right now, but if I brought 75 people to the bank right now, the bank would want to fund every single one of us. But guess what? Our credit has to qualify us. Everybody who comes in, they want you to be there. They want their interest.
Absolutely. And they don't care what gender you are. They don't care what nationality you are. They don't care how old you are. They don't care how much money you make. I mean, that does factor into an important part, but they haven't even got to the money part yet. The initiation is one factor, the data that's on your credit report. They cannot tell nothing else, and they don't give a shit about nothing else but the data that's on your credit report. That says everything that they need to know about a person. How is that possible, right? So if you want to win in this game, you got to understand how to play it. And you got to understand, hey, I don't need to say nothing to these people. I don't need to tell them nothing. All that I need to do is send them, pull my credit report. It speaks volume. That's all.
Hello, I speak credit report.
That's right. You don't need to say nothing. They have all the information that they need. They just want to make sure if they give you this money, you're going to be able to manage it properly. They just want their payments on time. That's really all that they care about at the end of the day is if we give you this money, because we certainly want to, we're a business, we need to make money off our money. But if we give you this money, we got to make sure that you're going to pay it back on time, because we're not trying to call you. We're not trying to do any of the extras. We just want you to set up auto pay and pay it on time. That's all we want.
In the words of the late, great Whitney Houston, show me the receipt.
Right.
Your credit report is the receipts.
It is.
Your credit report is your report card.
And it's not going nowhere.
And it shows how well you lend, you borrow, you pay back. It just factors all that stuff in. And you may say, oh, okay, well, great. What about my business? I don't want to focus on my personal. Consider my business. If they don't know your business, where do you think they're going to get verification from?
And guess what? You are your business.
When you go even for a job, they're going to get verification from your friends or your peers or past coworkers.
Yeah.
So even if your business is new, you're not guaranteed the money because you have an LLC. There's so many people with LLCs here.
Yeah.
There's so many people with LLCs.
You can create an LLC online in a an hour, right? Anyone can get a goddamn LLC or a corporation in this day and age. It's not hard, but you're not going to get cash funding from an LLC without a personal guarantee. People don't understand there is a difference between small businesses and commercial lending. There is a huge difference. And what it boils down to is your revenue. Okay. Commercial businesses are bringing in millions and millions of dollars. So do you honestly think that they're going to need a personal guarantee? No, their financial records are able to stand on their own 2 feet. Therefore, the business itself is its own entity and will be responsible for this debt. When it comes to small business owners, guess who is their business? The consumer. So it's a lot of consumer credit traits are used in business credit. The most common trait that we're going to see is the ability to pay debt back as agreed. That's the biggest factor on the personal side and the business side is just paying back debt as agreed, because so many people want to get the bag and run off on the plug.
Yeah. Well, the plug gonna catch you at the border, baby.
The plug is going to catch up with you. And guess what? They're not in no rush. They're not in no rush because they know this cat and mouse game. They're the big dog. Okay. Yeah. That little $25,000 that you effed up that they gave you, that was a test. Just to see what you was going to do. Okay. They can't even manage that. Put them into the fuck no category, because every time that they go to a bank, it's going to be fuck no, because they can't even manage a $25,000 credit card. So nobody in their right mind is going to give them shit.
Even if you get married and change your last name, your social security number is still linked to you.
Yeah, it's still the same social security number. And a lot of people are like, well, I'll just get a CPN.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I always say CPN, a certified prison.
Yeah, pretty much. Because you're basically creating a whole new identity and think that you can just, run from your past. And I'll be the first one to tell you, like, it is 2024, ladies and gentlemen. It is getting harder and harder to run from your past. So the best thing that you can do now is to change your ways and change your mindset, unlearn everything that you once thought you knew, relearn and apply yourself and dedicate your life to, financial wellness, just a healthy lifestyle all the way around, with a healthy financial relationships and healthy, habits as a human, because the better that we feel and the more resources that we have to help us elevate, the better, especially when you have joined the community, because the community is a place where we can all gather. We're going to meet once a week. You'll have access to all the courses. You'll have access to us to ask us questions. We'll give you the personalized roadmap. If you need help with credit repair, Marshall is going to take care of all of your outsourcing needs for credit repair. She is a beast, okay? She's worked with some of the top named credit people out there. We can't say any names because, all that, but, some of the top credit repair folks out there, she was the one behind the computer doing it all. And unfortunately, since they were the face of the business, they got all the credit, but they didn't even know what was going on. So at the end of the day, we have all the tools that you're going to need in order to be successful when it comes to building your personal credit and your business credit. Because, us as small business owners or entrepreneurs, or even someone that's just looking to, build their personal credit out for right now, the opportunities are endless, and it all starts with your personal credit. As a small business owner, you are your business, okay? So you need to understand that as a small business owner, a lot of it is still going to come back to your personal credit. The amount of EIN only funding is very limited in today's age. A few years ago, more opportunity, but as more people mess the plays up and fumble the bags, it becomes harder and harder for no PG funding when it comes to like the gas cards and, all that stuff. And if you are interested in how to get EIN only funding, I did a video. I'll leave the link below. You can check that out. But, it's limited. It's limited because it all comes back to, the owner or a credit partner's personal credit report. Because if the business doesn't have enough business credit, they'll just use the personal credit report. A lot of banks now are using personal and business, but like, for example, Truist, they use Equifax on the personal and Equifax on the business. Now, if you didn't have a strong business side, they could just kind of supplement that for the personal. But nowadays, you want to build both. Like if you need business trade lines, we have it. They report to Equifax. So, we could talk about that. Book a call below. That's a whole nother topic. But all in all, it all comes back to your personal credit. So you have to get that. You can't cut corners. It's just going to take you longer and cost you more money, because that net 30 crap that everyone talks about, building business credit with all these crappy net 30 accounts and Divvy and blah, blah, blah. Guess what? All those charge cards are now connecting via Plaid to your business bank account to verify your deposits and banking activity. So if you don't have, cash flow, you're not going to get those cards. So, you have to have one of three things: either credit, cash flow, or collateral. And sometimes it requires both. So, just wanted to kind of put that out there. I know it's a lot of information, and that's why we started the community. So that way we can support you guys on a weekly basis to help you reach your goals quicker. Because let's just be honest, the best person for the job is you, right? Because you care more about your well-being than anybody else. You are going to make sure the job is done. You are going to understand what you have to do in order to get to the next level. If you just pay for credit repair, all that you know is that you're paying someone to help you. But guess what? Paying your bills on time and managing your credit cards is only something that you can do.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's very important for you to become educated and for you to take accountability and for you to say, you know what? I'm going to get serious about this. It's 2024. I know I need good credit because this could possibly, lead me to a job decline or an opportunity decline, or I won't be able to purchase a home because I don't have credit.
Or even to get training that you need or want to do
Yeah.
something in your field or area of expertise that you want to go into.
Exactly.
So,
So,
not even having medical insurance and needing
mhm.
to do something major, so there could be so many different things. Sometimes we think about the surface things, but if there were a big procedure that even if your insurance was going to pay a percentage and you had to come out of the pocket the other, sometimes
Yeah.
having those credit cards is just leverage so you
Yeah.
can pay it until you can pay it down the credit
Yep.
card. But you would definitely I would max my credit cards out to save my life or save my
Oh,
child's life.
yeah. Especially for
Yeah.
like a vet visit. Like if you have
Yeah.
the care credit card and you have a pet, I mean, God forbid anything happened to one of our pets because they're family, right?
Yeah.
And, we're not going to let them suffer. So, for example, like my family, they just purchased a dog and the dog had some issues last night. It got spayed and the wound opened up and they had to rush it to the emergency vet. And that vet bill was over $2,000. And, what if you didn't have $2,000? The vet's not going to just be like, oh, no problem. We'll do the work. Just pay us payments. No, they're not going to do that. So in order for you to be prepared, if you are a pet owner or, even like a parent like myself, we need to have that care credit on hand just in case something happens, because in an emergency situation, pretty much any place out there is going to accept care credit, right? Especially when it comes to like the vets and stuff, you need to find a vet that does. So that way you don't have to come out of your pocket $2,000. That might be your $2,000 that you needed for rent or for housing or for whatever, right? You always want to be able to be prepared when you least need it, because emergencies happen, your tire blows, you can't afford to buy a new tire. Like we need those credit cards in order to do that. And it's never a good idea to like go to the tire store and apply at the store. Like I always tell people, stay away from stores credit. Okay. It's never a good thing. Furniture stores, like only time that I would recommend someone getting a furniture financing is when it doesn't report or when it's a loan. It's not a revolving credit line. So if your purchase is going to be like $5,000 and they give you a loan for $5,000, then that's fine. But if it's a credit card, which is a revolving line, so they approve you for like a store credit card and your purchase is $5,000, your credit score is going to damn near drop 100 points if you max that credit card out, because you're going to have a brand new account that is already maxed out.
Yep.
Okay. So that's why it's very important to be educated, because a lot of people finance furniture. Like I finance furniture, but I know what the questions to ask. Like, hey, I want to make sure this is going to be a loan that I pay down versus a credit card, a store credit card. Okay.
Yeah. And they drop your limits after a while if you don't even purchase furniture
Yeah.
for them. So
Or
now you're
close
dropped
it.
down. Yeah. So it's just like, and of course there's certain circumstances where you just have to. But
Yeah.
again, you don't have to do it alone. That's where people like us come in, to where you can
Mm-hmm.
be able to say, hey, or just be a sounding board to hear it, because there are unique situations. In a perfect world, these things happen. But if it's life or death, I would max all my cards out to save my mom's life or my dog's life or my life or stuff like
Absolutely.
that. But anything else for a birthday party, I'm not maxing all my cards out for
No,
nobody's birthday party. So
I'm not going to the mall to max out my credit cards.
yeah. So there's different scenarios.
Absolutely.
But
And
nine
while we're
times
on
out of
that,
10, go ahead, you got
yes, no, I just want to make
it.
sure that if you guys are watching now, you have liked the video, give us a huge thumbs up. Make
Yes.
sure to drop us a comment, whatever you're thinking, your stories. I want to hear them. Drop some comments below, guys, because we want to hear from you. If you are struggling with something or you have anything that you want to share, if you found value from this video, drop a comment below, because guess what? Your engagement with this video helps our content reach a wider audience. And in this credit space, we need to reach as many people as possible and give them the honest truth. We are not trying to sell you on anything. What we are trying to do is educate you so you can make better financial decisions that are going to benefit you in the long run. Okay. I'm not trying to make any money off of your funding. I do not charge a funding percentage to help get you funding. That's not the business that we are in. We are here to help guide you, coach you, and see you succeed. Okay. So share this video with anyone else that is on your social media. If you could share it on Facebook, we would greatly appreciate it, because we want this content to reach as many people. Because again, if you knew better, you would do better, my friends. And that's why we are here, because we give you the information that you need to know, not necessarily what you want to hear, because what all glitters ain't gold. I seen a rainbow the other day. I never found the pot of gold, but guess what? Someone probably could have sold me on, yeah, no, there's really a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. And if I wasn't educated, educated, I might believe them, right? So don't fall for the fool's gold, my friends. You want to make sure to get with real people like myself and Marshall, who truly are passionate about this industry and want to make sure that you get the real information. Because if you follow all of these videos and watch all of this information and do all of these hacks, you will be able to get way more than $100,000 in funding. Okay. That's just the tip of the iceberg, because a lot of times I tell you guys, this little bit of 25,000 here and there, 50,000 here, that's just a test. Okay. All that they're doing is making sure, okay, we saw that they can manage 25K. Now let's give them 50K. Oh, okay. They can manage 50K. Next level progression.